No, I'm sounding.
up.
Oh, can't spend the nose. Oh, sure, I'm not way. What'd you say?
That's a vibe.
I had a bad idea on the way down here. Do you remember stackers when we were a kid? They would have the competitive stacker cups.
Oh, yes.
They would run that shit down real quick. Adult version, all glass cups. Dire consequences.
Oh my God.
How much more exciting would that be when this guy's got like a huge stack and they all come shattering?
I would play it.
No. you got things to do with your hands.
With gloves.
Will we allow that? This is a sport. I mean,
That's true. Some sports can use gloves.
oh, can you tell me? That's fair, I guess. Why don't people wear gloves in basketball? Why isn't that become a thing? Maybe that's illegal. Maybe that's one of the few sports where it's like someone trying to get ball. You're not coming out here, Limestones. You're not coming out here. Erin Coburn, what's going on, player?
Oh, it's good. I'm waking up. How about you?
You're waking up at
Yeah.
4:39 p.m.?
Well, it's whenever I have caffeine for the second time, that's my official waking up.
Okay, that's when shit kicks up.
I've been up since 7, but yes.
So you're a very early riser most
I love
days?
rising early. Yeah. It's great. Well, not at the moment, but like an hour after, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I left some verb running on your voice. Why don't you play him something nice while I run?
Okay, getting rid of the verb. Let's do some vibes, some verb vibes. Hey,
Sweet baby.
there we go. We're dry.
Dry as hell.
Yes.
Do you track with verb on and then go into your DAW and catch it dry and do the thing from there? Or do you normally like to track as if it's the real thing?
When I do guitar, I just DI it straight in, and I'm doing like the Rupert Neve DI, and then I go into an archetype amp and just have I can just change it from there, and then sometimes I'll take the verb off of that and I'll like bus it to a verb, but yeah.
I feel like I've been trying to learn how to do the verb bus thing more because I'm trying to get that matched aesthetic from a couple of things.
Totally.
But I feel like then making like your pre-delay decisions and all your EQ choices.
Yes.
But I'm trying to do like the universal audio stuff. What do you normally run with in terms of your setup?
With recording for like reverbs,
For like your interface setup.
for
and,
my
like, your
interface
DAW
setup. I'll run you through the whole setup. Okay, hold on. Let me put myself in the space. Okay, so I'm sitting at my board, which half of it doesn't work right now, so I have to get that fixed because it doesn't light up anymore.
shame.
So it's terrible because I go to like push the buttons and like every time I know it's not working. It's just muscle memory.
Sad.
It's so sad. So anyway, sitting at the board, I run a D command console that I picked up in Chicago that was used. It's amazing, besides when it doesn't work. And then I'm running through an Apollo 8 XP.
Cool.
As my interface, and then I'm going into Pro Tools because I'm a Pro Tools whore. All my friends use Logic, and they make me feel bad about it because the MIDI is definitely worse.
And I feel like all the academia kids that I really know of are Pro Tools kids.
Yes.
Is that where you get that from, or
Yeah, I got it from school.
where'd you go to school at?
I went to Cleveland School of Audio Recording, so
Very
it's just
nice.
like it's mainly like just like almost like a trade school. Like I went during the pandemic, so it was like four months I think I was up there. So.
And
Yeah.
why'd you decide on doing like a real program during the pandemic, like the structure? Or?
Yeah, it was, because we weren't touring. Are my earrings making a lot of noise? I feel like you can hear this in the mic.
No, but
Okay, cool.
give it another try, because what if they sound awesome?
Can you hear it?
This is the sample pack that we're going to put out
Yeah.
after this.
Sorry, I was hearing this. I'm like, this is okay.
Bojangles and six strings.
Yes. Wait, what was the question?
I have no idea.
I
Fuck
forgot.
it.
Why'd
Why'd you do a
recording.
school
Yes.
thing instead of just doing it online?
Totally. I knew the guy that was doing the school because he did my third album and was very familiar with the studio, very comfortable. I knew they did
Nice.
this program. And so my drummer and I, Brandon Pettiford, we decided to go up there because it was more like we wanted that hands-on experience, and they were very safe during all of it. It was actually just us two in the entire program and then one instructor.
yeah.
So it was very wonderful. But yeah, I like the hands-on aspect. I wanted to actually use the boards. I wanted to see what they were doing because I had taken an audio engineering course online. I didn't get a lot out of it before, and I'm sure it's just like the setup of each one. But yeah, I wanted that hands-on experience because I learned the most from that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's interesting when some of these programs require you to make an EP. Some of them make you do an album. Some of them don't require you to make music. And it's like, it's hard to pin down what any one person wants to get from that kind of program besides the ability to do their thing, and then you kind of got to watch it. So having someone you already worked with beginning to end of an album is quite convenient.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This over here. Sorry.
So Pro Tools has always kind of been your thing.
Yeah.
Have you looked at like Ableton or anything like that and considered it? Do you guys use any live stuff in that regard?
You know, I've downloaded so many DAWs. Like I think I have like not all of them, but I have a lot of them. I've done the Cubase thing. I've done like the Logic thing. I have Logic on my computer, and then I have MainStage for tracks if we use them, but we don't use tracks right now.
Nice.
But
do you like it better?
MainStage?
No, do you like being off tracks better?
Oh, I don't know, because it's the new material that's going to be on tracks. But as far as Ableton goes, I've tried it. I think it's cool, but it's not my favorite setup because I'm so used to Pro Tools. So it just feels like a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much is going to school for this kind of like upped your capacity to get shit done? How much quicker you compared to Erin writing, this album before you had a producer?
Yeah. Well, it's been way quicker getting stuff done because I can just like wake up and like float over to my studio, and then I'm like, I want this versus it's like when you're in the studio with someone else that's being the engineer and like the producer, it's so much harder to communicate like the things that you want to achieve with that album.
Yeah.
Especially if you have outside figures saying, I want you to do this, or like a manager saying, I luckily don't, but I have friends that are in that situation, and it's a lot harder to communicate when you have 10 other people talking to you about what they want you to sound like.
Yeah.
So, but like learning how to do all of that like gave me the tools that I can just do it myself, and it's so much quicker. And again, it's so nice. I can do it whenever I want. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like I love the accountability of having someone else in the room, but I don't like the way that medium works out. Like you're saying, like we have to talk about every fucking thing that we're gonna do. Whether I'm taking a step back from the mic or I'm taking a step forward, it's for a sonic reason, and getting you to trust in that, and also making that turn of, okay, now we gotta drop all those tracks before this ain't worth shit. Are you someone that will just reset the whole thing if you don't like it, or do you kind of be very meticulous and?
Yeah, it depends on the project. There have been some projects where I did exactly what you just like said, where, I have to re-record all of this. Like I was doing, like I just recently started learning how to scream, and I did some scream takes, and like they sounded awesome, but I didn't line up the sibilances very well. And like, I know I could have done that manually, but like in my brain, like I was like, it has to be perfect from the start. So I just wiped like 8 tracks because I was layering them. I just wiped 8 tracks off the board and like restarted the whole thing. So, but it depends on the project. But typically it's that kind of thing.
It's nice to blow it up every once in a while. It feels good to have a clean slate again.
It does. It feels good and bad at the same time.
Yeah. Did you build like the world's best template for your home studio setup that every time you start a new track, you go into Pro Tools and it's there?
Yeah, no template setup.
I
don't have a template setup. Actually, I just made one like last week, but cool. I haven't used it.
I'm still trying to convince myself it's worth it to use the one that I built, because there's always things that you kind of want to change about it. But I just find it interesting when people get really efficient with their craft in the way that seems like you do. From anything from your Instagram reels to just putting out music to being on the road and whatnot. Yeah. You seem like you're very conscientious of your balance and keeping the wheel turning all the time. Yeah,
absolutely. I like having what's the word? I like having things laid out, but also I do like the, spontaneous side of stuff, but I do love a good schedule. But that's why I'm surprised I don't use my template as much.
Yeah. What were your hobbies before you found guitar that kind of made you that person?
The last time I remember having hobbies before guitar, because I started playing guitar when I was 7, and like my only hobbies before that were hanging out with my chickens. I grew up on a farm.
That's awesome.
I love chickens. Oh my god! I was at the dentist today and they had chickens on the screen. I'm like, did you know I was coming? So excited.
Is this a plant?
It's so great.
Is this an intervention?
Right? Have you ever met a chicken before?
I've never been up close and personal with the chicken.
Oh, it's life-changing. I feel like I'm going to cry. Sorry. I love them so much.
I feel like they're little raptors. Like they're scary, and it's such a different life form than us. Like dogs, you look at them and for some reason it feels like when you look your friend in the eye, they just can't talk to you. Like it's a little more personable.
You see a human with a dog.
Yeah. So how do you get to that place with chickens? That makes zero fucking sense.
I mean, ever since I was little, well, not ever, actually, I think it was like how old was I? I don't know how old I was, but when I was young, I had chickens. We lived on like a hobby farm, and I'd always be out with them. And I don't know, like when you spend so much time with them, you hear like their voices, and each one has a distinct little personality. And like there's different breeds of chickens, and different breeds have different kinds of personalities sometimes. And like, you know, like the males versus the females, or just everything about them, especially their voices. Like when we're on tour, if I like get anxious about something, or even just in life in general, if I get anxious about something, I'll like go to YouTube and I'll put on like 3 hours worth of like chicken noises, and it calms me. I love it.
That might be the strangest thing anyone's ever unveiled about themselves on this
Really?
show. I'm pretty fucked up about
It feels
this.
so normal to me, because like that's the thing. If you met a chicken, you'd be saying the same thing.
I'll give it a chance anytime that you present the opportunity, but I'm going to tell you, like, it's such a different life form that I'm kind of freaked out about that. I can definitely understand, like, they have different voices and different timbres, and if you grew up around that being your morning start and the whole day is just their chaos. But I kind of feel like you're just watching the Kardashians chicken style. Like, you know, like...
Oh, there's a lot of drama, let me tell you.
I was going to say,
the pecking order is real.
They don't seem kind to each other. So, like, and you're like, they're so beautiful. Like, they eat each other's young. You know,
they do. Yeah, it happens. So I watched it, like, one of my chickens, I watched them, like, swallow a mouse whole in the barn.
That's a good chicken,
They're
though.
intense. Oh, yeah, they were working hard. But they're intense. And, like, we had turkeys, too. And so turkeys are my second love. Like, but
Where does the ostrich fall?
I know, right? We thought about it, but we did not get any ostriches.
Really?
Yes.
There's still a chance. I mean, if you get the kind of financial freedom you deserve in this life, you'll probably get an ostrich.
They're kind of dangerous, though.
That's why you need a bigger fence. I mean, like, you have to bump the scale up of
like,
this thing.
The thing about, like, chickens and, like, turkeys is, like, if you raise them right, you can pick them up and, like, pet their heads, especially turkeys. You can pet their little bald heads, and like they have these things called a snood. It's that like little bump that's on their head. For the males, it's that big like saggy thing that's like coming off of their heads called a snood. Yes, something like from a Dr. Seuss book.
Nood or Snude?
I think it's Snood, but I'm really not sure about that.
God damn! I wish I could Google things right now. I'm incapable. I'm not gonna get my phone. I don't want this rabbit hole.
We'll just go with that. It's spelled something like that, but it's like you can just play with that little thing, and like they fall asleep in your arms. It's the best.
It's pretty graphic.
So
why does it get? I'm not gonna ask that. Never mind. It's such a poorly phrased question.
Go for it.
No, I can't.
I never think before I speak, so all my things are poorly phrased.
I like that honesty. Shibuya.
Yes.
So, was that the only thing you had on the farm as a kid? You guys do cattle?
No cattle, but we had horses, we had miniature horses, we had donkeys, we had peacocks, we had pigs, we had...
Were y'all flipping these things, or just for shits and giggles?
Just for shits and giggles.
So your parents are very high-capacity folks. They are obviously doing a lot with their lives.
Yes, they were, yes.
That's
and
wild.
We just loved animals. Like, most of them were rescues. Like, they're someone that's like, you know, I can't take care of this donkey anymore. Like, she's just really overweight. And then it turns out she's pregnant. She has a baby. And then we had to, you know, give the baby away.
Is that a real story?
So, it is a real story.
Can you give me the names of these donkeys?
Her name, the baby was Abby, and then Miss Kathy Lee was one of the other ones, and then, crap, I forgot the other one's name.
They're gonna be hurt.
I know, I feel really bad. I never forget names to animals. I remember all my chickens' names, and I had a lot of chickens.
How many total?
Well, over the years, maybe 100 or more.
No.
So, yeah, but that's over the years. I had them a lot.
Is there a level of reckoning with these animals where they're eaten by someone else on this farm?
Well, we never ate our chickens, but
other folks maybe?
No, it was the animals. Like,
Ooh.
Raccoons were the worst. Like, my arch nemesis are raccoons. They may be cute, but those motherfuckers can die. Not actually, please don't come after me, vegans, but they're mean.
I don't think they're worried about the raccoons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, like, here's the thing. Like, raccoons and, like, hawks and, like, foxes, they don't kill to eat, like, typically. They just kill for sport. So, like, they'd come in and wipe our entire flock out, and, like, all that would be gone is, like, the heads, but nothing would be eaten. That's it. So they just kill for sports. It's kind of sad. Like, if you just eat it, you know.
Yeah. Well, it brings up a lot of questions of why. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think most things in nature have a purpose, and that just seems like a runaway issue going on here. And like, maybe we gotta have an intervention with our raccoons.
We do.
Sit down, guys. Like,
yeah, let's talk about killing for sport.
It's a bad day for your fucking hobbies.
Humans do it too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that, like, if you were just talking about the species and it's a binary, it's like, do humans murder for fun? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Totally.
You know, so maybe there's some raccoons out there that are taking a stance. They're like, I only eat twigs and shit. Like, I'm leaving everyone else alone.
I'm just going after the garbage, man.
And then a deer kicks the shit out of them. Then a deer starts killing for sport because it sees a chance.
Exactly. It ups the food chain.
But before 7, like, you were just a farm kid doing the thing. And
that was my hobby. And, like, Honestly, I just mainly animals. Like it was that, and I had rats too, so I was playing with my rats.
Had rats?
So. Yeah, like
Okay,
pet
these aren't
rats.
these aren't pets. Now you crossed. If you go into PetSmart and you're like, give me the rats, they'd be like, those are out back. Actually, we don't even sell those.
They're free.
Exactly. It's just
no. My mom worked in a lab in like for UC.
They're being rescued from a medical lab.
Yes. So
oh my God.
These were allowed. Sometimes you're not allowed to take like the radioactive ones home, but these ones you're allowed to take home. So my mom.
PetSmart sells those.
Yeah, exactly. And my mom brought them home. I'm like, oh, they're so cute. And then like they were great. They were. We had 3 boys, and like they giggle when you tickle them. There's an actual research paper. Rats giggle when you tickle them. They're like miniature dogs. They will run. They'll play with you. My grandma, she loved to sew, and she used to make like Halloween costumes for them. So I have photos. Sorry, this is such a weird podcast.
No, I love it.
Okay, good. I have photos of like my rats in these 3 like little pumpkin like costumes. It's the cutest thing ever.
I gotta imagine if you like to knit or crochet or whatever, having some kind of small project that really does have high turnover. Because you make a fucking quilt, and you're dying at the end. Like
basically,
that's the end. This was what you did while you were at the home. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's sad to me. So having some rats that you could deck out every year for Halloween, like the Scooby Doo and his fucking gang.
I'm telling you, they probably have that on Etsy. You
Kardashian rats.
Yes. Every animal.
Maybe not the most tasteful.
Yeah.
I don't think those are pets. Oh, I guess you brought them.
They definitely are.
Did they die sad lives because they were tested on?
Well, yeah.
They like pop at some point?
One of them got a tumor. It was so sad. But the other 2 just died of old age, which they die like after 2 years. So it's a really short life. But you love them. You love them hard.
Probably my worst pet choice. I got like 2 little frogs that got sent in the mail. Like you go on vacation, it's like you want to get a hermit crab or why don't you take this little pamphlet for $5? We'll send you a styrofoam thing with less water than this in it and a frog.
Oh no.
So I got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And like they grew to be like probably like the size of the top of that cup. They were pretty large by the end.
Are they like bullfrogs?
I don't even know. Like this was at a point in my life where like I wasn't a good pet owner. Like I just saw it and signed up and parents are like, let's find out what this is about. It'll probably be
at least
6
they
months.
knew.
Yeah, 6 months in a frog funeral. It's like if he wants to, sure. I'm just saying worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like 2 years in, these things are massive, still alive. And I walked in one day, and their names were Chunky and Monkey.
Oh, I love that.
Guess who ate who?
Oh, no. Wait, frogs eat other frogs?
Chunky ate Monkey, okay? And, like, it's not like this was, like, split up. It's not like they got teeth to do nothing. It's just, like, get as much as you can in your mouth and wait for more to be able to progress in. So, like, it was a slow eat. So then, like, I just had, like...
Something from, like, a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, then I was like, I bet he won't eat goldfish.
Yeah.
He definitely ate goldfish. Ate a bunch of goldfish. So I stopped doing that, and eventually we took him to the creek and said, you can fend for yourself if this is how you're going to roll.
Good Lord, he's a cannibal.
Dude,
is that normal for frogs?
I don't think so.
What the
But I think they have better things to eat the rest of the time. Mm-hmm. And I think, I saw a thing on Instagram the other day where it's like, how would you feel if you ate dry food your whole life? And I was like, God, that hurts pet owners. So how would you feel if you ate flakes off the top of the water the whole time? Like, you're looking at your brother and you're like, you're next.
You look so much more flavorful. The texture, man.
It wasn't until the flakes landed on him that he realized, like, oh, this is just garnish. It's a garnish on my friend.
Literally. I see it now.
Now, you seem like you're a tight diet person, too. I see you cooking a lot.
I love cooking. Sometimes I burn things, but, it's part of the process.
That feels like a separate hobby, and it's like, leave it.
Definitely.
Sometimes I burn things,
Exactly, yeah. Arsonist, but only in the kitchen.
And is that like your whole life? You were just like a farm kid that fed themselves and ran wild?
Yeah, I was kind of a lame kid. Like, I didn't have... Like, there was a point in my life when I had a lot of friends, but for most of my, like, growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends. And I was fine with that. I wasn't like, I didn't have a lot of friends, like, big sad. No, I was rolling with it because I had chickens again. Those were all I needed. And so, but that, like, before I had guitar, which even when I started guitar, I still had chickens. So those were my 2 main passions. But, like, before guitar took over, it was mainly just that. I didn't start cooking until a little bit after I started playing guitar when I was 7, so like maybe like 10 or something. So when I was like, ooh, like there's a whole other world with this, you know, being able to make things.
I'm
so.
just figuring that out. I'm such garbage in the kitchen.
Oh.
My mother's an amazing cook. My fiance's trying to get into her game. I'm trying to at least keep up as a companion. That's like, I don't want to be the spouse that can't make something fresh.
Do you watch cooking shows?
No, and I'm not willing to go there, you know.
It's a game changer. like even just the exciting ones, like Chopped.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Chopped?
I've heard of Chopped. Isn't that Gordon?
No, I don't think it is. It's basically like these chefs put like 4 ingredients, I think it's 4 or 5 ingredients in a basket, totally random. And then you have like really great chefs come in and like they compete with these ingredients and have to make a dish out of it. And they have the weirdest things sometimes, like squid ink or like, you know, like pig's feet or just something weird. Some of it's cool. Like they'll have like, oh, here's cornflakes, you know?
Yeah.
But you have to make something out of that. And like, I really want to get like a group of friends. I don't have a lot of friends still now, but I want to get a group of friends together and do like a chop challenge.
You should do it with strictly guitar players. And
Yes.
everyone's just got to be like jamming on 12 bar the whole time.
Right? You gotta like one hand solo and like do everything else. Like if you take your hand off, you're disqualified.
Dude, that's a Mr. Beast challenge right there. Now
Literally.
that's kind of overdeveloped. Do you watch
like
this in
that.
the background? When do you watch
Like cooking shows?
anything?
Well, I used to watch them a lot. I don't watch them a lot now, but like with my parents, like growing up and stuff. So
That's
you know,
hilarious.
that was our thing. You know, it was fun.
Well, then I fucked up watching American Ninja Warrior because I can't do any of that shit.
Hey, but can you do like the obstacles?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't have that kind of grip strength. Like, these people are animals. Like,
They are.
no one's ever looked more like an ape than when they kill one of those challenges. You're like,
Yes.
you should be in the forest.
Yeah. It's mind blowing. But doesn't it like inspire you though? Like when I watch things, and I'm sure this is a lot of people, but like when you watch something, there's some voice in the back of your mind going, I need to do this now. Whether it's like the Barbie movie, like I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure after I watch that, I'm gonna be like, I have to go buy something pink. Like I'm very easily influenced with things that I watch.
So no go see Oppenheimer.
We
don't need you making that.
Okay, besides, you know, some of the intense stuff.
Just said she's an arsonist.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I saw one trailer of the Barbie movie and I was like, fuck, I do know a lot of those people, but that's not going to convince me because I don't want to go to a movie theater that isn't luxury and I don't want to pay for that. You know, I'll wait till I can do it at home.
Exactly. That's how my family is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you watch a lot of stuff on the road or do you kind of like spend time with the band and get stuff ready and...
Well, we basically live in the van. We don't sleep in there, but like we spend so much time in our transit van. It's like a 15-passenger van that we tour in, and there's no TV in there yet. We're gonna hopefully do that upgrade sometime soon, but it's really quiet in there. For the like it'll be actually. Let me set the scene. Mom's driving. She always drives, right? And
always?
then she always drives.
That's so nice.
She's amazing. She really is. She drives. She like helps with like the business side of things at the end of the night, like, you know, making sure we're getting paid. If she has to be mama bear, she can be. But yeah, mom drives. She's in the front, and then we removed the middle seats, like the next row, to give us more space because I am so loud that I sit in the back. So I'm way in the back now. So I'm the appropriate volume level to talk to mom when I do talk.
Yeah.
But it goes mom.
Laughs into mic.
Yeah. It goes mom, and then no row of seats, and then row of seats that Brandon and Tim sit in, and then I sit in the back, and then the gear is right next to me and in the back even more. So, what we were asking about, I forgot. The
like,
van.
what do you do with your time?
Oh,
in the
yeah.
van?
I just watch YouTube videos, and like I'll also like vocal warm up, or I'll Mongolian throat sing, or I'll just like practice guitar or like write things.
What the fuck does your mom listen to? Does she put headphones in?
She puts headphones in.
Okay, good
yeah,
for her.
she had noise canceling headphones because
I really enjoy headphones in podcast driving because it feels like I can still be aware, but like once the suction hits, it's like you're just in your own little tube just flying down the highway, you know?
I like that. I haven't tried the one thing that scares me if I put headphones in while driving, like if I'm the one driving, is I'm not gonna hear like an ambulance or something. Like, so I've never done that before, but
if you're listening to music for sure, like if it's like, you know, consistent level.
Totally.
But I feel like amongst people talking, like, oh, I know
true.
someone's honking. I'm just ignoring them. You know, like I can hear my blinker.
Yeah.
Isn't it really awesome when you get in a friend's car and their blinker just sounds great?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like...
There's definitely a level of blinker goodness.
Yeah. Well, if like... Say you could take your metronome that you've always picked for guitar tracking versus like your vocal tracking one. Like, I want to be able to dial in my blinker for my car.
Yes. Oh, why haven't they invented that yet?
Because tweakers would hit somebody trying to tune it to every song and they'd wreck,
Actually, you're right.
Yeah, people like us would be like, oh my God.
Though, I'm surprised. I feel like there's probably a luxury car out there that has that. Because, like, those luxury cars, you can... like pimp anything you want out on those. So
Tesla, you could probably do like Peter Griffin's like,
yeah, right. Or like if you're left or right, be like left.
That would make me crazy.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
I'm sure you could also get such baller horns at this point. Why is there not like? Do you remember when you could get a 99-cent ringtone?
Yeah.
Why don't we have that for cars? Why isn't there like?
I don't know.
We as songwriters need to put our foot down somewhere.
Yes.
I want someone to be able to sample me for their horn at a very reasonable price.
I'm surprised it's not out there either.
Yeah.
I mean, you should patent that and get that going.
Well, I don't know if you could, it definitely. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Trademark bitches. Don't take this from me.
At least like make like the demo model, and like you could like at least stick like a megaphone up that's wired to where the horn is. So at least when you hit it, you have something coming out. It's not the optimal device, but it's something. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm engineering it in my mind.
I know what you're saying.
Okay, good. The caffeine is here.
Yeah. When you're personally listening to music, like in your happiest of place, what's your medium? You like headphones on? You like a big fucking speaker? You like vinyl? You like CDs?
Yeah. This is gonna sound basic. Okay, I'm gonna do two different things. Realistically, like favorite place to listen to music is the car, obviously, but my car. Because like if it's in the van speakers are shit.
Yeah.
Like they sound terrible. Like Tim will be like,
you're in
hey,
the back of a 15 passenger.
Yeah, that's true. There's no bass. You would think that it would be awesome, but there's no bass.
That's the rattle of the car hitting the pavement.
Literally, it's yeah.
Back there with the road cases.
I'm like sitting economy on the on the transit. But no, definitely the car. And then if I were to choose like a dream place, like an oasis, it would be like some kind of like cave with like a waterfall, but like a very quiet waterfall, so it doesn't like damage the listening experience, but like it's there and you can smell it, like smell of rain.
Yeah.
Rain. If it's raining, I want to listen to something. No matter what it is, I will listen. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
Rain.
The last day of my bachelor party last weekend, like everyone's in pretty rough condition, and we're just, converging at all points, and just trying to keep it cool. And it's just a beautiful Michigan rain, and I was like, wow, I haven't appreciated this in a long time. A nice screened-in porch. Yeah. We can just we brought like one of those EV towers up there, like those stand. We were just kicking. It was a good time.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, very good for the mind.
And it smells like rain too, right?
But if you were in a cavern and you had this music, wouldn't it be too reverberant? Wouldn't you want an outdoor waterfall?
Well, okay, it depends on the mood. I'm gonna admit this. I know some people have a very strong take on this, but I like slowed and reverbed music. So I feel like it would be like the natural version of that. I mean, obviously it's not slowed, but if I played like the slowed version and have that natural reverb, oh my god, I'm in it.
Yeah. Well, and I also, if you can have everything, this is a weird, titles should come out with this. Yeah. If I can listen to tracks totally dry so that I could play them in cavernous spaces and listen to that verb. So like say you do have a nice cave and it's like, I don't need more on this, that's for fucking sure. Yeah. I'm going to chill out here by my waterfall in my lazy boy recliner. This is my fucking cave.
Yes.
Okay, and I got Dolby Atmos and we're bumping in here, but I need a dry signal,
Yeah. That way it's not, you're right, that way it's not too much. Yeah. That would be perfect.
What I've always wanted is to go to like a Riverbend kind of concert. Yeah. Take out, whatever. God forbid it's Ticketmaster, but any app and put my headphones in and choose a mix that I want to reinforce with. Because if you're going to have a decibel level for obvious reasons, for however sound travels, because sound travels without our help, so let's not bitch about it. But say you're a bass-heavy person, you can come and you can rip that. If you're a lyrics person, you can come and you can rip that. If you're a guitar player, I feel like it's not that much harder to have 4 extra buses where there's just other guys that come to the show and they're just making that rad.
Yeah, I like that idea. Have you seen, that reminds me of FKJ? You know the artist FKJ?
I feel like I do. Maybe one song.
I think he did like a little bit of like the,
Yeah, the Masego song?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I think
Is he the sax player?
Yeah, I
And
think
he does the gnarly
worked-
loops?
Yes,
Cool.
I'm pretty sure that's FKJ. So he did that song too. I think that's his most popular one. But he did like a show in, I think it was Paris. But he has like the best YouTube. It's so, he does like these concerts in these most beautiful places. And one of them was I think it was Paris, in this like art museum, and people were just sitting, and he was just in the middle of like the floor, and like this beautiful big open art museum. Everyone has headphones on, so they're listening to just his mix of like just this beautiful looping. It's just, oh wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But like I'm sure it would be cool though if someone could be like, oh, I want like the bass to be up in this mix, or like the audience to almost have like what we have for in-ears on stage.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Without having to eat up all the Wi-Fi band that you would
Yeah.
need for everyone to have a device connected. It's like,
Yeah.
just give me a little more variety than what I'm getting right now, because we're coming to a very different point of understanding sound. It's like, all right, maybe this much, exposure is going to give you hearing damage, but
Yeah.
people have preferences for this. So if we just turn concerts down, where's the fun in that? Like
Yeah.
Riverbend's sounding worse and worse as we go. Especially, it is.
I haven't been in a while, so.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
What's the best sounding room that you've been playing in recently?
Oh gosh, that's really tough. There's been some great ones. Are we just saying Cincinnati or anywhere?
No, I think just your latest road experience.
Latest road experience. I'm thinking. There's a couple that come to mind. The first that comes to mind is Ground Zero in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Interesting.
Oh my God. Like I walked in there and one was a little panicked because we're not like traditional blues, and Ground
Yeah.
Zero likes traditional blues. No, these people were awesome. They loved what we were doing, which was cool, but no, the room felt really good. And like sound engineer is he's awesome. He's on fire, man. So I definitely like that room. There's so many great. There's also like a small room in Evansville, Indiana called Mojo's Boneyard.
Very
and
nice.
like it's a very small, intimate place, but the sound there is really cool. It's I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I like that sound too. But there's so many. Those are the only two that came to mind at the moment.
There was a venue that I saw on one of your schedules, and I reached out to him and ended up playing there, Jamie's House of Music.
Oh yeah.
The ground hum there is the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
But the sound of the room and Jamie sound fucking great.
Oh my God, I love Jamie. Yes.
But there's an awesome disclaimer in that email being like, "Hey, single coil folks, like
Yes.
time to get some humbuckers." Like,
yeah. Well, even with those, like,
oh yeah, there's still something.
There's still some. That drives me nuts. Like, I love Jamie's House of Music, and I love their food and everything too. When we first played there, I was like,
salmon, it was so
"It's
good.
so good, me too. It's so good."
Did you meet the little gal that is the daughter of the waitress who works there as well?
No, I didn't.
Oh
I
my!
didn't.
This gal came and she laid the law down. She told me what to get for dinner. We were kicking. She was hilarious.
Oh, I love it.
She wore
they're good
roller
family
skates
there.
and yeah, they got this one little aisleway and she was just
What?
burning. Yes, it was awesome.
Okay, that's cool. That takes a lot of bravery to roller skate in a smaller place.
Oh, yes,
but
indeed.
And trust too. But
Yeah.
no, I think that place is awesome. That's great. That's awesome that you played there. It's cool. Like yeah, I played there like 3 or 4 times. I think like the second time, I had copper into my like underneath my pickups. I
Yeah.
had that put in there, and it didn't make a difference. And I was so sad. I had a hum debugger. It didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I tried another hum debugger. It didn't make a difference. I'm like, oh my God. And I feel so bad. Like I'm like, I hope the audience knows that like this is something that we all just have to work around. Like in the back of my head, I'm like thinking, and like actually that was the first time I met my boyfriend's parents. Was they drove all the way from New Jersey to Jamie's House of Music to come see me play.
That's excellent.
And this is like a year or 2 ago, and I was so already panicked. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna like think that hum is coming from my guitar. They're gonna think I'm not professional or something. And I was so scared.
Of all the things to be like, I don't like who my son has been seeing.
Yeah, right.
This dad's
A
just
tattooed musician, like
her ground hum was atrocious. I mean,
Yeah, right?
you
Can't
expect you want my respect with that 60 cycle bullshit, you know?
exactly. It just ruins it all.
Is he still a New Jersey boy?
Well, his parents are in New Jersey. He's in New York City, so he
Okay.
he was doing his what what is that called? Research in Cincinnati at Children's.
Cool.
And then he's back in New York City. So he's actually a transplant surgeon. And so he's in residency right now, I think. So I'm learning all the terminology.
You two are an intense pairing. I mean,
such a weird combination, but it works.
I think people that live heavy need each other in that regard. You know, it's like.
What's nice because like he's on a call schedule too. So like his schedule is ridiculous. And like normally a long distance relationship, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know, like that's kind of maybe not. But it works well because I'm on the road all the time, and he's on call all the time, and he's like never home. So when we do find time, it's perfect. So,
when me and my fiance first really started dating, well, I guess we were probably 6 months in. She moved to LA to do a travel nursing job.
Whoa.
And it honestly, like, I was just settled enough in the relationship to be like, duh, this is what we're doing. Like, I'm out here gigging, you're doing that. Like, it's fine by me. She decided she didn't like that after a while. And, like, she had worked nights, which also worked out great. Yeah. Now she's working days, which, like, we really do live separate lives. But I feel like if you and your partner have that understanding of just, like, this isn't something you choose to pursue. This is you.
Yes.
In the same way that a medical field is going to require 10 bizarre years of your life just to find the right place to work at.
Yeah.
And then hopefully from there you can start to gain your own space to do other things in your life.
Yeah.
Transplant surgeon, though, God, the people that cut things and recut things.
Oh, I
and
know. I always regret the decision saying, how was your day? What did you do? And he's telling me about these things called fistulas and like all kind of like.
Fistulas is an awesome word.
Oh, it's a great word, but when it's explained to you, you're like, whoa. Let's just keep it to a basic explanation. I don't need the visual. And like when he was like studying, like he showed me some of his like photos like during like the study session. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I'm like eating dinner and he's just casually talking about it. It's icky, but no, it works out. I think and like I'm sure you understand that then because you have like, does your fiance, do they play music?
Like while they're doing stuff?
Like is she a musician or?
She can play a little bit. Yeah. She played guitar growing up, played more piano growing up, so she definitely has the appreciation for it.
Absolutely, that helps. That really helps.
You know? Or else you look psychotic.
Yeah.
You do it. It's like I saw you put something up the other day being like, does anyone else like to play guitar before they go to bed? It's like, we know you like to play guitar. It's just the side of ourselves where it's like, isn't this still so much fun? And people are like, no.
Right? Yeah, they're like, it's been like 14 years. Aren't you over it?
Exactly. Like, can you put it down for a second?
Exactly. I have an unhealthy obsession. I was talking to my bass player about this. I told him, I was like, I hear a lot of people talk about like work-life balance. And I think that's an interesting concept. And I think for a lot of jobs, you do need that. And I'm sure for being a musician, you need that too. Mm-hmm. But I haven't asked myself for that, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I don't want that work-life balance. I just want the work because it is the life, Yeah. And I don't know, it probably has something to do with, like, enjoying what you're doing while you're, working. But
if it's good enough for you to not feel like it's this hassle in your life, like, to me, the work-life balance is... Playing is the best part, the easiest, most not necessarily thoughtless, but like so involved that other shit can just be. Yeah. And then the work is the emails and changing your strings and going over that verse for the 15th time just because you could be better than that. And,
the learning.
Yeah.
Constant education, like with this,
Well, and tell me about your pursuit on the guitar and furthering that education, because you seem like a bit of a nut. Is that in terms of, like, do you love the dexterity or the theory or anything that it has to give you?
Totally, yeah. Honestly, like with my favorite thing about guitar is that there's always something new to learn. There's always someone new that's coming out that's like inventing crazy techniques or whatever. And like Tosin Abasi, for example, like he didn't invent thumping, but he made it widely popular.
Yeah. Show me what you mean by that.
Oh God, I can't thump. But it's basically like you take your thumb and it's like parallel to the strings and like you slap it.
Oh, and you're getting on the upstroke?
Yeah. So it's, he can do it really fast.
Yeah. Does your bassist slap?
No, he doesn't really slap that much, actually. We don't have too many slapping parts. During a solo, I think he does a little bit. But, But like on guitar, it sounds nuts. But
if you're great, or it just sounds like a guy hitting a pickup too much,
Exactly. That's the stage I'm in. So, but once you get it going, but no, I mean, I think like. There's doggy. Sorry.
Chicken?
Squirrel. There's I recently started taking not lessons but they're kind of like lessons. It's what is that called? JTCguitar.com. It's like not sponsored. It's like this.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Just dropping. It's
Get
like
it
this,
together.
It's this like learning site for guitar players, and there's all kinds of courses on there, and like a lot of them are like shreddy courses or like metal courses, but some of them are also prog courses and like improving timing and things like that. So when I get stuck in a rut, sometimes with my practice schedule, like I end up just playing like the same riffs that I know and like calling it practice. I'm like, wait a minute, let me go take a course on here and get extremely uncomfortable and smack myself down saying, look, I don't know that much, so I need to learn this. But yeah, that's been the process lately.
And what's your practice schedule?
I wish I could say I had a schedule, like wake up at 6:30, do this, do that. But it's more like every day I just try to make time for doing one of those courses and then practicing it for like an hour.
Okay.
So.
An hour of your time, people don't realize the magnitude of it, and it's like there's so many things you're forced to give an hour of your time, like going to the dentist or something like that, where it's like, this is a disturbance in my life. For something that is such a freedom and a positive thing, it's hard to push yourself to stay uncomfortable with that. I'd say as a guitar player, I certainly haven't kept up with that type of skill.
It's tough, because like this is also something we talk through. It's like someone saying like to you, oh, you talk, and like when you talk you use the same like 5 words. Like that's a smack in the face. It's just like, oh crap, do I? Like but like that's the same thing with guitar. It feels personal when you don't know something, like, but I don't know. It's also like a thing you have to watch with your mental health too, because it's so easy to compare yourself to other guitar players and like, but yeah.
Well, in comparison is just like it's a seed of doubt that's only going to take you to places that, it's the same fuel in your fire, or it's the same fuel in your negative pit, It's like there's no sense in going towards it. The more you can embrace those people, the better it's going to feel. It's like
100%.
You announced your interview the other day, your guitar.
Yes.
Erin Coburn, motherfucking Guitar World.
Yeah.
And people in your scene, and I like to consider myself someone that's in your home network, at least in the same town that we can call a place for us.
Yes.
It makes a difference when people that are around you start to excel in that kind of way, because either you admire it and you shoot for it and you applaud them for it, or you let it become the burden that gets you off of doing this thing. And God forbid that happens to talented people, but it happens to plenty of talented people, because you make your existence so much dependent on other people's.
Exactly. There's so many people that also like live through people, and then there's also people that like negatively live through people. Like their comments, if it affects the person that they want to affect, like makes them feel better about themselves. But it's like that's not a healthy way to live. Like, there's so many negative comments that come through on like all my social media, and I'm just like cool, it's a comment, because like then I get more interaction, and ultimately I get paid for that. Not that it's about the money, but but what are you achieving with that?
Yeah. Well, there's also a scale where you can stop paying attention to it, but there's also folks that, if you're still getting those first 10 comments, unfortunately it's time to bite it and say thank you. So you have 11 comments, 12 comments. I
respond to all the negative comments, but only after I respond to the positive ones, because there are some people that are like, they won't respond to any of the positive ones, but they see a negative comment, they respond to that immediately. And I'm like, you're only as good as the person that you're going to be responding to then. Like, yeah.
And also you're teaching people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And you're forging relationships that become a fan base that supports you genuinely. It's like we're moving away from a point in time where a top 100 matters, because all of your income streams are totally independent of that one ranking list. So
totally, yeah.
So when you're trying to teach people what you're worth, it's like, I want you to feel like you can reach out to my content every day and at least get my bare intention of doing so. It's like most of the performance stuff you put up is to push other guitar players into a place of their own fulfillment, things that have made you happy. For sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's tough when there's always someone negative in the comments, because there is always someone negative in the comments, and it's just something to accept and move on from. They're jealous if nothing else.
Yes. What's even more impressive is some of the people that come to the shows that are like the people that put the negative comments. Like, it's kind of mind-blowing that they'll say that to your face too. I mean, I would prefer that than just someone commenting, because then I can be like, actually address them in person. But
Well, you gotta be thrilled that they bought a ticket. It's like,
I know.
That is super bizarre.
It is weird.
And you just gotta be thick-skinned enough to be like, so T-shirts for you are $35.
Yeah.
And it's not an upcharge for being a dick. It's an upcharge because I don't like you anymore. You know,
Yes.
Just because you've earned a disservice in my heart. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like at the end of the time, like, or at the end of the day, like, you just have to, like, yeah, just brush it off. But
Yeah.
you know, and again, it's a comment, so always look at that as a good thing because it's interaction and.
Yeah, but you need a place to put that burden too. It's like those. I'm a big believer that when negativity comes to your life, it can manifest in a knot in your back or, you know, the discomfort you feel in your own skin. It's like whether that's exercise by lifting, walking, yoga, meditation of any sort. If you're the type of person that likes to slap a bowl and make that shit keep ringing, so be it. But you need to kind of exercise these demons in some kind of way.
It builds. It's like stress. Like. I was talking about this with my friend Ethan, 2 days ago, and we were talking about like how stress is like crazy bad for you. I mean, we know that, but like it actually builds up physically. Like his mom is a doctor, and someone came, I think, to her, one of her friends, and was like, "I'm having stomach pain, like severe stomach pain. I've had it for like the past 2 weeks." And like, well, she said, "Is there anything bad going on in your life?" And apparently she was putting her dad in in hospice during that like time, and was trying to decide if it was time or not. And so the doctor, she said, "Well, come back to me in a week after you've made this decision. Try to make this decision. I know it's not easy, but try to make it as soon as possible." And so she came back in a week, and she was like, "It's gone. As soon as I made the decision, like, it went away." And it's crazy because stress can affect you physically. Like, I was reading a book about this. I don't know what the book is called because I'm not finished with it, and it's been a year. I'm that kind of reader, but
I'm not a good book reader, and I don't like audiobooks either.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
me neither.
No, it's like I can go 3 hours tops on a podcast, but like you want me to listen to this for 20 hours?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a commitment.
Yes.
yes, but yeah, this book was talking about like how stress like can affect so many different things, and like it was talking about, you know, people that have bad genes, or for example, like someone that has like a family history of like a certain disease, you know, like, you have that gene if maybe both your parents have it or whatever. And then like stress could be that thing that triggers that gene, you know, or let's say you never stressed, you actually manage your stress, then maybe that gene never came about and you lived your life without that disease. But it was talking about how like some research going on about how stress can like cause all kinds of things, including disease.
Yeah.
So, but doctors don't normally look at that because they're not trained to do that. They look at covering up the problem versus preventing the problem, you know, with right diet and like exercise and, you know, mental health too.
Yeah, and we like to hand our health concerns off to the professionals in the field sometime, but like the person who executes the command is you. You got to take good advice and roll with that. And I think there's something that's a major gift for folks like you and I who found a passion early on in life, and that became our career. There's a miracle that's right there, and then if you can keep up with the pace, and the pace starts to kind of snowball, it's very easy to let those stressors just stay bottled up and grow until it's this monumental stop. You know, and that's something to be so aware of, and it seems like you really put the time and energy into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you too. I it inspires me seeing like your like the daily yoga things on your story and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I love that. I want to surround myself with people like you, you know, who get the importance of doing that.
Yeah, but there's something also so ridiculous in your mind where you're like, do I need to put a picture up of this because am I doing it for somebody else? Like the transactionalness of the internet sometimes takes away from those experiences. But
totally, yeah. I mean, there's always that voice in the back of your mind saying like, should I be sharing this? Like, yeah, like did I do this for me or did I do it to make the post? But
but when you come back from lifting and you post something like that, I'm like, this girl looks like she's gonna beat the living fuck out of somebody. It's awesome. Oh my God. And I think the opposite, where like someone sees a yoga and they're like, this guy's feeling zen. Like everyone needs those motivators in their life of just like positive community.
Yeah, and like I like seeing what people are doing during their daily, like whatever they're like, whether they're taking their dog for a walk or whatever. Like I like that. That even just that like simple little thing that people I like are doing, like watching that it's nice. I'm glad they share it.
And then you follow some people that make you sick, and you're like, hold on, now I'm being a hater again. I got to either unfollow this person or change the way I think about it.
Yes.
And like, even the folks that are predominantly on Facebook, and yeah, I'll leave it as vague as that. That make me upset when they say things, when they say anything. I'm trying to be better about consuming what I need to consume and only fueling the fires I see productive.
Yes.
And trying to like today I had some a snafu with my suit for the wedding. It's like I'm not the one that's as bothered by it, but like this is a team effort. You know, we're trying to get wed. So me having
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Me having loose ends to tie up makes my fiance be like, you better get it together. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I took my mom in there with me. She got that shit done.
Oh, you gotta bring the big guns out.
I told him when I walked in there, I was like, there's a reason she came, and she will now do most of the talking. I'm gonna go try this on.
There you go. Yeah, you gotta have someone in your court sometimes. It's just gonna help you push through it. Yes.
Well, and supportive parents sometimes get a bad rap. You know, I think we're watching a generation of what we call helicopter parents really make their involvement in your life seem kind of fickle. And like, my mom's always told me this since I was a kid. You don't truly grow up till both your parents are gone. And that's a bizarre world to think about if you haven't gone through the loss of, important people in your life, let alone one of those two folks. Yeah. So while you got them here, if you don't call those people and give yourself time to let them know the truth about your life, but also have a casual good time and laugh about some shit, like if it's not a diverse, fulfilled relationship, then you need to push some friends to the side and reinvest in those people.
100%. I mean, I know not everyone's in a position to do that, but if you are, making your parents some of your best friends, it's a great decision.
Yeah, as someone that's really experienced that in a full-mannered way, it's like your relationship to your folks must change so much as you become this very public figure that is the leader of this pack. It's like your parents are now the people that report to you and make sure that things get done for you, and that takes so much humility and honesty and transparency between you two. Like your folks should be very proud of who they've become for you, because not many parents want to do that. I've seen my folks do that for me over and over again, and I can't imagine dropping my world when my kids come along and doing what they want to do, but I hope at least a little bit I can.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. I've heard that when you have kids, some kind of hormone or something releases and you're like, oh, it's time to, focus on these people, these small people in my life, and make them happy, and I think my mom even talked about that. She was like, that definitely something changed, when she had my brother, and so
there's definitely the chemical fulfillment, but I think also, genetically, this person has everything they can need to be agreeable to you. They're literally of your own. Yeah. So if nature and nurture line up, you could build yourself a best friend if you do this well.
Literally. I just thought of Build-A-Bear for some reason.
Build-A-Bear moved at the Kenwood Mall recently. Did you know that?
Did they really?
Down the first floor.
Really?
Closer to Auntie Anne's. Do you find that to be some kind of health scare? Are you concerned?
I don't know.
What if there's cinnamon in the bears?
Or there's fur in the...
Oh God, you're so right.
Or those little hearts that you stuff them with. I only went to Build-A-Bear once when I was a kid, so but that was quite the experience.
There should be a place that I could go to get made into a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
Like a furry thing that doesn't go into the sexual realm. I want to do an escape room as a bear.
Oh my God. And at the end of it, you just shed your skin and be like, I found the way out.
And the losers don't. You gotta stay for another round.
You have to go to the grocery store like that.
Oh God!
Can this happen?
Yeah, we could do it. Okay, when they make it at the grocery store, now it's chopped. Okay,
yeah, literally. On to the next challenge. Yeah. Just a day full of challenges.
We're going to need to watch this going on the internet just to make sure that we got all these ideas buttoned up so no one can steal our shit.
Yes, I have paper. I'll just make a patent list real quick.
Okay, did you just sign? Is it like copywriting your CDs where all you got to do is mail yourself one that's dated by USPS and then it's legally... it's legally sealed. It's almost like getting a notary on a document. If you took your demos and you were like, just sending this there and back to myself, that's official.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've the copyright.
I've done the copyright
office.
Whatever you would. Yeah. That shit's ridiculous.
It's expensive, but if you group them, I think if you put them in a group together,
volumes
then
of work.
A little bit better. So I typically try to wait, but or I just don't.
Yeah.
So, with my old stuff, I mean, I did with some of it, but not a lot.
Well, it also expires, and it's really what you need is a paper trail to be able to walk someone through your ownership and creation of this. It's like,
Yeah. Or like
goddamn,
a Pro Tools session.
Yeah, if I gave all my privacy up to Google, you better have this shit noted when I made this doc, like in every single edit from then on.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're going to take my privacy, please. But
Yeah.
there's so much to do with your material after the fact that's like really intimidating as young songwriters, whether it's registering with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, however you want to do that, or getting like, I haven't even done this, like your MCL like licenses where you can get like your what's the term for that type of copyright? You know what I'm talking about? Mechanical copyrights.
Oh, mechanical. Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that Walgreens? Yeah. I want that Walgreens money.
Is that Walgreens?
Yeah, I want to be on that playlist.
Yeah.
There's so many questions of the old music industry and the new music industry that are now coming to head. And like, folks like you and I are trying to walk that line between them. You know?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing too, this is kind of on a side note, but I think by the way, this is probably not a time to ask that, but am I loud enough? Because I've been sitting back here.
Oh, you're plenty loud.
Okay,
You got that good projection.
Okay, cool. I know. I see a microphone and I just start screaming. Where's the correlation? No, but the cool thing, like lately, I think in the past maybe 10 years, I don't really know, but like maybe 10 years, is artists are becoming more knowledgeable with things that they never knew back then. Like, like when it used to just be like the label and the artist relationship, and that was the only way you could be a successful musician. Mm-hmm. Those artists didn't know what they were signing. They probably didn't know about like copyrights and like, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, but like most of them probably didn't know about all of these different avenues that you have to know about in order to make music happen, even be a thing. And now it's like, there's like the majority of artists, I think, like know about all this stuff. They know about copyrights. They're learning about this. They're learning about that. They're learning about how to make their own stuff. They're learning about how to, send it off to, what is that? Like sync licensing. Like all of these things that used to only be knowledge of like labels and bigger companies. Yeah. It's cool.
And do you find that, like in my life, I don't make a lot of money off my music. I make a lot of money off my merchandise and my live performance.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're moving towards a world where your music actually makes you less and less because we choose for convenience sake to be on these streaming platforms that have an infinite license on our material.
Yeah.
And then when they got to settle up their books, they pay off the people that are going to sue them, the people that they really owe money to. Then they take the rest and they split it to all of us.
Yeah.
And someone didn't think through that business model because the rest of us aren't making I think it's like maybe in 1999 that there's the artist rights to a certain percentage of every single copy, and then suddenly we don't sell copies anymore.
Nope.
Do you sell physical copies in any way, shape, and form?
Well, with my first 3 albums, I do sell physical CDs.
Still?
So, yeah, still. But we're not printing. So the first album sold out, and the second album I think is almost sold out. And I'm not gonna reprint those.
Yeah.
So, but we're still selling what we have of like the third album.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's part of taking back the control is not printing so many of them. Like I'm going through the process with my latest EP of I'm hand printing every CD.
Yeah.
I'm writing the name and I'm writing the number, and you got your copy.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
Well, and
it's
at
like
least
personalized.
It's personalized.
Yeah.
It's a little cumbersome, and I wish I could be quicker at doing it. But at least it tells you like I am trying to get all the juice for the squeeze of my time into these songs, and you buying this makes the biggest difference, because as much as I'd like to say streams have made me happy because more people have found the music, not a ton more.
Yeah.
And you could go broke making music as a successful musician. It's a very odd thing, and I feel like I've been really focused on trying to make records affordable to make. Someone like yourself has also done that.
Yeah. Well, Spotify, like, it's not even a discovery platform. Like, not really. I mean, people, like, most people will discover their music on other platforms or, like, in other situations or, like, Shazam it. But Spotify's not built to be a discovery platform. They're switching that now. So, like, they have some more, like, like suggested radios or things like that, but not typically
so you're saying it's mainly like TikTok, Instagram?
TikTok and Instagram would be the discovery platforms. That's where you'd be like where most people will be scrolling like, ooh, I like this song. I like this new artist. I'm going to go follow them on Spotify. Yeah. It's never normally, I found this artist on Spotify. I'm going to follow them on Instagram. Typically, it's that process of going from Instagram and all the social media over to Spotify. So, like, Spotify, like, again, like, it's not really where all your streams are going to come from in the first place. So it's a weird setup because you got to do all this work to get all these streams on there. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the way you speak about that feels very calculated. So, like, walk me through, if you're putting out a single, how are you going to get this to as many new listeners as possible?
Yeah, I took a TikTok marketing course by this agency, like the Brandman agency, and it was the best thing I've ever done, ever. Like, I think it was like 6 weeks, and I was learning about, how to, it's mainly based on TikTok. They focused, it was their main focus. They had some Instagram tips and things like that, but I didn't really like TikTok before I did that. I was like, oh, this app is so dumb, and like, it's just useless, and no one's ever gonna like actually follow music on here. And I was so wrong, because I worked on all these videos. So like normally, now I have ASMR. Now I have a yeah. Those are my hands rubbing together, by the way.
Don't trust her. That was 2 grapefruits being thrown at 90 miles an hour towards a baseball bat.
Exactly. That's the truth. But
hey, you hillbillies, get some nice headphones.
It's the chickens. But no, there was I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
You were making the TikTok videos in the course. Yeah,
sorry. So in the course. Anyway, so they gave us a lot of different ideas. Like, oh, you could try this or do this or look at this artist. Here's some case studies, It was very calculated and very well thought out and put together. And it had like homework assignments. Like, you're going to go home, you're going to write 4 scripts for this TikTok. You're going to do this. You're going to revise the script. There were scripts for TikToks.
Yeah.
And so I did all of that, and they did okay. Like, some of them were kind of stupid, and it was for my song Sleeve. And one of the days, I just decided to post an 8-second video that was like super random. Didn't have any scripts for it, but it was just really random. But I used one of the hook ideas of like running up to the screen or something like that. So I ran up to the screen and I said, hey, if someone sent this to you, they want you to know that. And then it goes, you're a model of flawless design, like song.
Yeah.
And like, it's like 8 seconds. It went kaboom! Like, totally organic. It went huge. And
what was the number?
I can look at it.
That would be great. Yeah, please do.
Okay. So it was...
I would love to hear like the scope of like what that changes in those numbers, because most of your reels look pretty solid. They touch that 10K point, and they either keep going.
Yeah, Instagram's done pretty well recently. Wasn't. Let's see.
And here's a question for you: do you feel like the TikTok emphasis for your case studies and the way that you kind of frame the content has done well on Instagram Shorts? Different things like that, like YouTube as well? Yeah,
well, it's kind of weird, because if something does well on Instagram, it probably won't do well on TikTok for some reason. I've noticed that even with other like people I've talked to, they're like, yeah, like my TikTok stuff, if it performs well, it's like hit or miss on Instagram. Like, Instagram, it does well. It's like, like the Snack House video that we had, like it's like this humorous video about, I'll have to show it to you. It's really random, but we call it the Snack House, and it went viral on Instagram. It didn't do too well on TikTok. So, yeah. But okay, I can't load that video, but it was, I think, like, it was huge, like a huge number, maybe 1 million, because now on Sleeve, I think I have like 586,000 streams on it, and I've made like $800 off of that, which, I mean, obviously. Like, it should be more, but it's still, that was good. I didn't even know, because my songs before that, I had 3 albums out, and they didn't really go too many places. I have some great fans that love them, but they didn't really get big, and I know why, because I was young and I didn't know like exactly, like, I didn't know a lot, but I still made some cool stuff. But like Sleeve wasn't even like, I mixed and I did everything on that myself. And then actually when I posted that 8 seconds of the video, I didn't even have it done. So it was halfway done. And so when it blew up, I was like, oh shit. People are like, when is this releasing? I'm like, soon. And I got it done in 2 days and released it the next week. So, and it went crazy. It's still climbing. And that song is the reason why my TikTok got big and why my Spotify numbers went up, is just one song. And so that was crazy. So I love social media. I do love it. It's a great marketing tool for independent artists.
Well, and if you keep a healthy balance with it and you do it in a way that you find entertaining and fun, like, and if your followers find it entertaining and fun, like, without ever meeting you in person.
It's genuine.
Like I said, over the last couple months, it just felt like we've just honed in on who you are, and it makes it so much more comfortable when someone does get the chance to talk to you, to feel like, oh, I've listened to Erin not just through music, but through all of her personality,
Totally. Yeah. I mean, like, it helps when you're genuine. Like, I know some people will create, like, a character on their social media, and then, like, there's someone else different in real life. Like, I thought about doing that, because I'm sure it's a lot easier to separate, like, this is my personal life, this is like my job life, or my music life. But it's hard to do that, you know?
If it's on, it's on. And some people are blessed with, the paradox in their heart that they want to do that kind of thing. Like, in my personal and friends' life, I try not to be too overbearing and a lot. Yeah. But if I'm on stage, like, now's my chance. I got to get this out. Yeah. And crafting that's different for everybody, but how'd you find content you like making? How'd it go from being a chore to...
Yeah, that happened, like, recently, actually. Like, even with the TikTok stuff, like, when the steam started to die off after Sleeve, I was like, crap, like, what am I gonna make now? Like, I don't have another song I want to promote, so I don't know what to do. So I tried my hand in comedy videos. So, like, the really strange ones, like the Fever Dream ones, like, have you heard of Jericho Menifee or,
no.
There's another, there's like this specific genre of TikToks or, Reels, whatever you want to call them. And, like, they're really strange. Like, it goes from one thing to another thing, but there's no transition. It's just really weird. So it's, like, really random comedy, basically. And so I tried my hand in that with, like, guitar humor and also, like, just humor videos, and they did okay. Like, again, the Snack House one is what blew up my Instagram, and that was humor, based around guitar. But recently I've really enjoyed, and I'm sure it's gonna change because as we're artists, like, we evolve, and, like, not only with our music but what we're putting out there with content too, because it's another form of our art. And so recently I've been liking, like, guitar riff videos, but also with vocals. I just recently started recording vocals on videos for Reels, and I never used to sing. And people were like, oh, she's just a guitar player. I'm like, wait, no, I can sing. Like, let me do this. And I don't know why I wasn't comfortable, though, singing. Like, I can sing on a stage and, like, cool, but singing on Instagram or TikTok, like, kind of scared me.
Yeah. And is that, like, do you make audio recordings and work just for that, or do you just always film while you work and you're like, that's it, I'm gonna take that right there, just clip this out of a song?
I wish I did that, but it's more like, okay, I'm gonna make this video and I'm gonna set up everything and then I'm gonna record and sing while I make the video. So
what would you recommend to people for trying to get into that habit while not relearning the wheel every time?
I like just having your stuff already set up, like I use for recording vocals, I use a Sphere LS22. I love it so much, but I don't use that for my videos because it's in my vocal booth and it's in a set position, and I don't want to move every time I don't want to move my the mic stand because it's a ceiling mounted mic stand. So I don't, and like the Sphere, like, why am I blanking on that? The mic holder? There's a name.
Like the bird cage.
Yes, the bird cage for it. It is very specific to that microphone, so I would have to move that every time. And, like, I'm lazy, but
I'm still geeked out. You have a ceiling-mounted mic stand.
Like, it's fantastic.
That's bitchin'. Will you send me a picture of that?
But it's like the vocal booth is tiny, so, like, I need that floor space so I can, like, flip around and move. I can't stand still. I'm moving, or, like, most of the time I'm, like, not even wearing pants in the vocal booth because, like, the more chaotic, like, I am in the studio, the better everything just turns out.
The more you
it's
grunt.
Just free,
Dude, later it's going to be you in a barn with a bunch of chickens just going off, and you're like, I'm making my masterpiece. You're like, this is really starting to sound fucked up.
Exactly. No, it sounds perfect.
Like sampling your own voice to your guitar through some kind of MIDI weirdness.
Yeah. No, I'll sample the chickens and put them on, like, a keyboard.
Holy God.
That will happen someday. Manifesting it. But it's perfect. I forgot. The mic. Yeah, like having your gear already set up is nice. You know, because.
So what do you track the videos on? Like an SM7 or a 58 or?
I'm using a Peluso.
What's that?
It's it's a P12. It's tube mic.
Cool.
So I discovered that when I was in Cleveland during like the whole pandemic, like doing the audio recording course, and I was like, ooh, this mic sounds great on my voice. I like this, and so I bought one, and it took a big chunk out of my bank account, but it was worth it because I don't think the Sphere can model that mic either. I don't think it has the option. It might.
Yeah.
But I haven't found it. But it's a great sounding mic. So I use that for recording videos. And it's pretty.
I wanted to ask you about that Sphere because it is
Yeah.
such like there's so much you can do with it, but it kind of
Yes.
seems like the amp Sims where it's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna find one thing that this does exactly like I want it. Maybe
Yep.
I'll play with some knobs every once in a while,
Yes. Yeah, that's typically what I do is like I have like maybe 2 or 3 in there. Like mainly it's just I load it up and I just use the first one.
Yeah.
And then but the great thing about that mic is if you're in the mixing stage, you can just go back into the app and be like, or into the plugin and be like, I don't actually like this mic, and just switch mics, and like, you don't have to worry about re-recording anything. So
that's so wild.
it's amazing. So like then you have time to, if you don't have time during a tracking session to like fuck around with it and try to find the right mic,
Yeah.
you can do that in mixing.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to learn, especially with the Apollo stuff, giving the opportunity to do so, like, just that first round of compression.
Yeah.
Or that first round of color. So I
Yeah.
don't have my computer just eating plugins while I'm trying to get to the end of this project. I'm scrambling for space and whatnot.
Yeah.
but-
The pre-compressors, I guess, or that's not really what you're calling it.
Like the preamps.
Preamps. Wow, that was the word I was looking for. Yes.
Do you run that as the Unison preamp? Like, you got the XP for a reason? Or are
Yes.
you kind of like... I'm still running it as the first channel strip slot. And
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing that. Am I being an idiot? Like, do you go...
I mean, it's just all preference.
Yeah,
you
walk
know?
me through your channel strip for your vocal.
So,
in full nerd capacity.
Okay, well, when I'm just trying to get it done, like just record and get it done. So like I have I don't remember which preamp it is actually that's on my vocal, like the VS7 or something is like what the little things are for it, but that's what's on like the actual UAD console.
Yeah.
But then when I go into Pro Tools, then I go and make my strip.
Then-
So that
okay.
it's really simple when it comes to actually just recording like straight in.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put a lot of things on there because one, I'm not still like well versed enough to like just trust all of my instinct decisions like and print that.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to have that flexibility on the back end of changing it out. But I have an obsession now. I used to use CLA vocals for recording, like just to get it done, and then I would go back in and take that off and mix it. But now I use the Howard Benson vocals by JST.
Cool.
Oh my god! Like, again, I don't always like leave that on there. I'll probably like for some instances, like the lead vocals, I'll take it off.
Yeah.
And,
I'm a dummy and I don't know what it is. Would you tell me?
It's a plugin, and it's made by Joey Sturgis Tones, and they're like a plugin company. And it basically it's from Howard Benson, and he worked with them and made this plugin that like can create different vocal sounds. So like it has a compressor on it, it has an EQ on it, it has delay effects, it has reverb. It's all stacked together. You can turn things on and off, but it's in like its own one plugin. And so it makes things, if you need to like record a vocal like super quick, you can just pull that up, sounds good, go, and then you can take it off for, when you want to mix, but it's amazing.
Yeah. What I find that like there's moments where you're dialing in that you really hit the sweet spot, and like that's the inspiration behind the recording.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how I don't have to reverse engineer that later, and I feel like the universal audio stuff is so perfect for that.
Yeah.
But not when I'm still monkeying around trying to figure out the really basic shit, like how do I use a Unison preamp?
Yes.
So I'm gonna keep trying to clock through. Have you ever gone to the streaming world?
I have. I used to stream on Twitch, actually, again, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was, it took me like a month to figure out how I was going to stream my audio from Pro Tools to like OBS and then to Twitch. But then I found like, it was this plugin, I can't remember what the plugin's called, that you stick on like your master channel. Or maybe it's on all of them. It's like, or you can bust things out to it. But I was doing it the most complex way possible. There's definitely an easier way now. Like I use Streamlabs now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not streaming, but like I have it set up so I can and I want to. But there's that aspect of like when I write songs, things don't always come out right, and I don't want people to see that side of it just yet. Like I want to get my new stuff out there. So people are like, oh yeah, this slaps. So then I have like that pass of like, even if she messes up, she's still got good music out there, like when writing. But there's a lot of pressure when people are watching you write, and like yeah, I love watching people write though. Like like Noah from Bad Omens, like he has some. There's YouTube videos out there of like clips of him on Twitch, making songs. I'm fascinated by that because they're like, maybe I'll do this, and then like 30 minutes they're like, no, I'll take that off. Like, and it's totally cool, and people aren't mad about it,
Well, especially in the production stage, where it's like things can have wide variance very quickly.
Yeah.
Rather than just like watching a guy thumb over articles, like there's him.
Exactly, or like the perfect synth sound. Like you're so just going through it, and like people are like leaving because they don't want to see that.
Plenty of good.
I would watch it.
Yeah, plenty of good reels making fun of that, like what you think music production, like what's really like, and she just like listen to a kick, putting a sample on it, no sample, next sample, no sample.
Yeah.
It's a different type of hell, and thank God for bandmates where it's like I don't want to pretend like I can make this drum beat cool. Like, why don't you come in here and diddle around and we'll find something that's neat.
And triggers, too, because you don't have... Now, like... I'm going to geek a little bit. Now, you don't have to have the perfect room to record drums. And I know I was listening to the Downbeat podcast, and they were talking about this today. I think it was Matt Garska from Animals as Leaders. They were talking about how... there's lots of cats now that just throw triggers on it and like it covers up everything, but like they're like, people don't know that you could get great sounds with microphones, and like I respect that. I totally get it. I'm not in a stage where I can do that right now because the room I have my drums in, it's not the greatest sounding room. So like having those triggers, like I use Superior Drummer. Oh my God,
I've heard amazing things. I have not dabbled, but
it's ridiculous. You can trigger cymbals and they sound fantastic. Trigger cymbals. Like if your cymbals sounded like crap, you can actually trigger them. Like I had Slate, and I don't think you can trigger cymbals on Slate. But oh my gosh, it's been game changing because now it's like you don't have to have a perfect room to have great sounding drums. You can have, your drummer perform these great beats and like it has the feel. Let's say though their snare or their kick sounded like garbage, or you want to just blend in a little bit of like a great sounding kick, then boom, you got it. And like it obviously it would be great if you can have a good room with good mics and good mic placements, but
totally. But it's something interesting to say, like the best snares in the world have been recorded to such perfection that any of us, besides those folks trying to make this happen, aren't going to be able to compete. But the thing that you have for the variety against that is your shitty sounding room. It's whatever makes it particular. So find out a way to take this perfect model, Superior Drummer, and apply it to your work. And then say, and here's my trash, and make it beautiful.
Exactly. It's nice.
Yeah. It's nice to have the variety.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you someone that sits around with a bag of guitar riffs or a bag of lyrics?
Oh, if you would have asked me this question like 8 years ago, I would have said lyrics. I had notebooks full of them. Now it's guitar riffs. It's so many. Like I don't practice writing lyrics as much as I should now, and that's what I'm getting back into now for the album. But I was worried like about 5 months ago when I was like coming back into writing lyrics. I was like, damn, I'm rusty. Like if you don't practice that, it's like, wow.
Yeah, well, why do you say you're rusty? Like what are you trying to get out that you don't get out?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to portray, like, okay, I've taken some courses in writing lyrics, and I think there's good things in doing that and bad things. One, you're going to overthink everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing. But the good thing is, like, it makes you think, like, okay, am I saying this the best possible way that I can say this? That's, like, good overthinking, like, if I'm saying I'm sad, like, I'm not just going to write I'm sad. Like, I should write something that's, like, it feels like my heart's being ripped from the seams or something like that, like something that like makes people really see something. So that's what I've been kind of stuck on because I'm thinking of imagery. I'm thinking of like, okay, how can I make this image? Because it's so easy to just write things that don't have any imagery. And then I'm like, oh, it sounds good. And then I'm like, wait, I think it would be better. I think I would connect with myself more and what I'm feeling if I'm truthful about what am I actually seeing.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's tough like when you said people are watching, you reach a scale of your success where everything else is now measured to that success, and it's a really hard threshold to hit.
Yeah.
But also like the way words sound and whatnot, it's like, there's something big about what you make me think about if I'm really tuned into the song in that way. But there's also levels of consumption where it's like, if I don't like the sound of that phrase, even if you're spelling out something just gorgeous, I don't give a shit if I don't like the sound of those words. And I find myself getting to just that stage, and trying to tell myself like nothing else matters here besides the sound.
The sound of that, yes.
Yeah, and then some nonsense spills out.
Yeah.
And then I spend the next year and a half playing that nonsense and finding out that was more honest lyrically than I would have been without it. Like my best trip and fall moments have been my favorite lyrics of all. You know, like I got a new song for my fiance. Yeah. It's called Sweet Disease. It is it's such an endearing song.
Wow.
But like it's such a poorly worded phrase. It's like I could feel bad about this. Or we can make it just the silliest part of the day and not judge it. And
exactly.
The more I've gotten away from it, it's like, no, I like it. It's a little sadistic in a funny way.
Yeah, I think that's nice because it's raw. And that's what music, especially now with AI, like, I'm not against AI. I think it's cool. But especially now with AI, having that, like I want this. And even though, like, you may have some second thoughts, if that was your first initial, like, knee-jerk reaction of, like, this, you know, then that's what people are going to want, especially like because again it's that raw moment that people aren't going to be getting as much now, you know, in the future too.
How do you compare that to your solos? Are you someone that plans out most solos and rips them?
No, I'm mainly improv because I grew up playing the blues. So like it's, you know, I mean, it's changing now because I'm going more towards like hard rock and I want my things to be more planned out, especially since we'll probably use tracks, not rely on them, just like to have some synth parts because I'm not going to hire a synth player to play 2 notes for a whole show.
No.
Like
bandmates are expensive. People don't
I can't afford that.
Not if you're going to respect what they're worth.
Yes.
And like I feel like that's the question of technology in your show is like you're not employing musicians. I couldn't afford those musicians. So let me afford the people that I can.
Yes.
The kind of pay that they're worth, and then I'll cut corners wherever I feel fit.
Exactly.
Make your own fucking art, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I'm, you know, with the tracks, like also like lights are going to be going to it because like we can have all of our stuff run by one system, so we don't have to have a light person, we don't have to have someone running our sound, we can automate everything except for like, you know, like the mains like levels and stuff, but like, you know, delays and effects, like automating all of that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're on the road to doing is, you know, we're already self-contained because we have our X32 and we run in-ear monitors and I run our own monitors. So when we go to shows, I just wheel up my X32 and we run all of our own XLR cables, all of our own mics, and then we hand the sound guy tails, and then he just runs front of house. He doesn't have to worry about us one bit on stage. Yeah. So it's more work for us, but it's more consistent.
And how do you like your ears? Are you someone that does tight seal, custom mold?
Yes, I have to because I have. When I got my molds done, they said that I have pediatric ears. So like they're like
you tiny ear holes.
Literally, my ear holes are tiny. So like they pulled it out. They go, whoa, and I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, your ear holes are like pediatric size. I'm like, no shit, what?
That's bizarre.
Yeah, and that's why like my first molds that I sent to Westtown ever like didn't really fit that well. And then I got new ones done. I'm like, because they got the mold right this time, and I was like, whoa, the difference. But
yeah, are you endorsed by Westtown?
I am. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, they're fantastic.
I feel like that's when the customer service really starts to wake up. You know, it's like any of us can consume from these companies.
Yeah.
But when they want people to hear you talking positively about it, they're gonna make sure they fit your pediatric ear holes. Okay.
Yes, they do. They do very well. Like it's and like I've had in years before. Like I had like I think they were like ACSs or something like that like a while ago, and they hurt. Like at the end of the night, I take them out of my ears. And I'm like, oh my god, I feel like my ear holes just got stretched. Like it's like I'm not even gonna compare it to what I was gonna compare it to.
It's like getting gauges.
Yeah, that's not where I was going with that. But
exactly.
Sorry, I have no filter.
Compress that chain.
Yes, it's been compressed. No, but like. Now, like with the Westtones, I'm not trying to sound like a commercial, but like they like genuinely, I can wear them for hours. Like I wear them in the studio. I wear them, you know. I have 5 drivers, so.
You track with them?
Yeah, I track my like.
Just guitars or vocals or?
It's for my videos. So like my videos, I have a different level of like, like this is acceptable to be to go out, and it's a little bit lower. Like it's definitely lower than like. If I'm gonna release an album, so you know I'm gonna record. I can record on like you know a not as good mic or you know things like that. Not that I don't care about it as much, but it's just
it needs to be a little faster.
Exactly,
pace,
the amount of turnover with the videos and like the content. Like I just made like 8 videos in a week, and I'm trying to make 20 before I leave next week, so I can have like a stockpile, and then that way I don't have to worry about running out of content. But yeah, totally diverged the conversation.
No, I think that it's good for people to hear those things because it can become your primary business. And I think to be happily self-employed, you need to be happy with the primary part of your business. So, especially in the game of art, where we didn't come here because it's profitable. We didn't come here because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's because you got called to it. If it's a vocation, you wake up and you got to do this shit. So you need to cut corners where you need to cut corners to be at your most proficient and happiest.
Totally, yeah. I mean, there's sacrifices. Like, in any job, like everyone is going to make a sacrifice in their job, whether it's 1, 2, or a million, a day. But it's because you have to get the job done. You know, it doesn't mean you're going to get it done wrong. It's just you're taking a different path. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you someone that has a clear end goal in mind, or is it just this until you're done?
Well, I don't know if I have a clear end goal besides to be just one of the biggest names in hard rock. And like, by biggest name, not to be like, oh, like everyone knows my name, but like,
want to compete?
I want people, I want to connect with people. I'm a people person. Like, I like feeling like I relate to people. So if I can relate to as many people, and I'm not going to relate to everyone on this earth, but if I can relate to as many people as possible, or like make as many people as possible's days, or, you know, let them let loose a little bit, you know, I want that to be my legacy. So, but I have a big goal that I'd like to achieve before I die, and that is to start a rowing pit at some show.
Where they all sit down and do that?
They all sit down and they just start rowing. They're like, row.
At your show?
Row.
Or you want to be the person at the front of the boat, like, sit down?
Oh, no. I want it at my show. I want to be singing, and then all of a sudden, like, or like, you know, playing guitar or ripping a solo, and I, like, open my eyes, and out of the moment, I'm like, oh, my God, they're rowing!
Okay,
you know?
So you want it to happen very naturally.
Yes, yes. Oh, my God. I said this on the Guitar World interview.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, okay.
Seems like enough.
Yeah.
What if you went for the Guinness Book of World Records biggest row to one of your songs?
Oh my God.
That'd be a pretty great way to hit pop stardom.
A tear just like started to form.
Yeah, and we need to have some pretty heavy hitters in this line. Like, we don't need no half-ass rowers. Like,
no.
Like
they
the
gotta
Undertaker.
Be into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, the guys from Gwar.
Yeah,
You know?
like the Vikings, Valhalla. You know, we're going in on this. I love that.
When I was a kid, I had some older cousins who were like very insightful into music, and they loved heavy metal, but they also loved Tom Petty, and they would pitch me a lot of shit. Yeah. One time I tried to play Free Fallin' for them, and I hit that third verse, and I said, I want to free fall over Valhalla, and they never let me live that down. They're like, it's Mahalan? Like,
oh my God.
Did you go for the Viking?
The Viking version. You're gonna just
Viking heaven?
up the grit and distortion on that verse too.
Pretty rad. Yeah. What if Tom Petty was a Viking? That's the ultimate timeline I want to live in.
I mean, in some alternate universe, that's probably a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it could have been beautiful. It all could have been Lute Telly kind of vibes, like very, very tasty.
I like that. Yeah. I'm seeing it.
Well, my friend, before we close this up, is there anything that you'd like to play? Is there any tunes that you'd like to promote? You may have to pull that microphone back a little bit for that sweet gain.
Let's go it. Yeah. Is this loud enough? Quiet enough? Yes.
I think that's actually a pretty decent blend.
All right. Well, this one unfortunately doesn't have any Mongolian throat singing in it. Next time I'll bring that out. I was warming it up. I was like, just in case. But this is or chickens. But you know what? Another goal, real quick, is to like release chickens on the stage, but in a very like kind way. Like, they're not in any sort of danger, but you know, like release some chickens on stage.
Is that feasible?
That'd be
no
awesome.
Danger?
Well, maybe like if they're in like a little pen, like, or the stage has some like, but like there's chickens on the stage.
Think about how you feel about subharmonic frequencies on a good stage. The way that makes you feel like you're lifting, they're so much lighter.
That's true. That would be really okay. Maybe there's like they're on a different platform.
Oh.
So it's like it's not as connected, but like like Prince, how we had like the dancers, like the feathered the showgirls dancing. They're in like those bird cages. Boom. Chicken showgirls.
Can I give you a minor tangent really quick?
Yes.
I saw an amazing Prince video where when he wanted to put his guitar down, he didn't get a stand. He had someone come out and hold the guitar while he did something else and then comes back. And they stood on stage and didn't move a fucking muscle.
My gosh.
I was playing a wedding recently where the father of the bride gave a lengthy speech, as a lot of them do, you know?
Yep.
And there's certainly a point where we're all like, wow, this has turned inappropriate. This man, out of fucking nowhere, breaks out beautiful clarinet and then plays some beautiful piece that I don't know what it was for, I swear, 3 minutes. But before he did this, he was offered a mic stand and refused it and pulled a lady up from the crowd to hold it for 2.5 minutes. And I was shocked. I am dying laughing. Like, this isn't going well up to this point. And suddenly he has, like, the magician's, like, right hand lady, you know?
Yes.
It was elegant.
Did she know that that was her job of the night?
He was offered a mic stand. I mean, she thought, like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And it's like, you in the front, come on.
It's an honor. Oh my God.
It was a moment.
I'm sure it was. Wow. You know, and like holding this, especially for 2 minutes, that's a workout. Mm-hmm. That's literally like, I don't know what you call it, but that's a workout.
And it was like, he had a full body performance. Like, the mic kind of moved.
Oh, is she going to have the move? She's following him?
She was very tame, but she followed. I mean, like,
wow, I need to hire her.
For as much as I could talk shit about the moment as a silly person, it was beautiful.
I'm
and
sure.
It was moving in a very odd way.
Clarinet is like I mean, it's a great instrument. Like Squidward has like blown my mind. But like
Squidward,
yeah. I love SpongeBob. No, but like you wouldn't expect that. It's not a very like popular instrument. It's cool, but like I don't hear a lot about it. I hear about saxophone all the time, and I love saxophone. But like clarinet, it's like
there's a different timbre to it that's very specific.
Yeah, it's very woody kind of. I guess it's a very MIDI instrument. Maybe not.
When whatever the song was is spectacular. But like I swear he had a solo moment like unaccompanied where it's like playing the form, ticket to the top, playing the form. Here I come, idiot. Ooh, back to the form. You know what I mean? And like. It was hot.
Wow. I'm sad I didn't experience that.
Well, without further ado.
All right, I don't have clarinet on this one, but we'll maybe arrange that next time. All right. Okay, I'm gonna do one that's not released. I don't even know if this is gonna be on the album, honestly. So it might be on the next one, but we'll see. It's called "Take a Look at Me." Body, just a sight. You tell me I am wrong, so I got no right. Bossy, I just might take away all the things you like. I'm not gonna strip, please don't touch this. I'm much more than tits, I'm a smart bitch. You can call me names, call me heartless, 'cause I'm used to it, yeah, I'm used to it. What if I turn myself inside out? And all you could see is what I am made of. Guts and glory, blood and bones, mine worth knowing, heart that glows. Red and blue, running through, what do you see? Now take a look at guts and glory, blood and bones, mine worth knowing, heart that glows. Red and blue, running through, what do you see? Now take a look at take a look at me, I'm not your Barbie daughter cat call. Hey baby, don't work and I ain't gonna fall for. Here kitty, kitty, over here kitty, kitty, here kitty, kitty. I'm not your pussycat, don't forget these nails can scratch. My body's got back, but it's not yours to smack. You never ask, no, you just grab hold. And now it's time that I talk back. You got that? What if I turn myself inside out? And all you could see is what I am made of. Guts and glory, blood and bones, mine worth knowing, heart that glows. Red and blue, running through, what do you see? Now take a look at guts and glory, blood and bones, mine worth knowing, heart that glows. Red and blue, running through, what do you see? Now take a look at me. Take a look at me, yeah. through. What do you see? Now take a look at guts and glory, blood and bones. Mine worth knowing, heart that glows, red and blue, running through. What do you see? Now take a look at me.
Woo, motherfucker. Erin Coburn, everybody. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you. Normally there's like a big breakdown to the little part. It was like, that sounds kind of puny.
I like the vibe of it.
Thanks.
I really, honestly, the acoustic value of that guitar is like very meaty and present, but also has a nice plectrum sound to it.
Yeah.
When you go for a lot of lead lines, do you chord then punch because it's a trio setting a lot of the time?
It depends on the song.
Okay.
You know, not normally actually, because a lot of the songs that we're playing on the set are actually like very riff based. Like for example, like there's one that's like, you know. So I'm not like there's not a lot of chords in like the set, but when we do play chords, then yeah, it's just typically chord punch. But yeah.
It's pretty heavy to be like there's not a lot of chords in our set.
Yeah. Like, there's becoming less and less actually. There's more, and I'm a little nervous because now I have to relearn all of the riffs for this new album and learn how to sing them and play them, and like some of them are in different time signatures. There's 1 and 7 that like it's 7 and then 4 and then 7 and then 4 and then it goes like back to 4, but like which like doesn't sound too bad, but like when you're singing over that, it's god awful.
Yeah. Well, especially when like you're singing, you're playing it, you're entertaining on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot to push.
Totally. But like I was listening again to that podcast earlier with like this was actually the drummer for Gojira, and he was like, you just beat it to death in your practice schedule, like so much practice, and then it becomes like muscle memory, and then you can just do the show and enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's good motivation.
Yes. It's so fulfilling at the end.
Totally.
Erin, you are a bad motherfucker. Thank
so
you.
So are you.
You
This
bring
is
a lot of
awesome.
pride home in our city. Keep doing your thing.
Yes.
All right. We'll catch you soon, players. Peace.